the sun. And we wrestle. We wrestle. If I just had a raise for me. If I just had. If my wife would just act like. If I just wasn't going to have these loans after school. If my parents were just a little bit. If my finances were. If my roommate was. If my brain just. If the alcohol would just. If the sex just wouldn't stop. Solomon says, I tried it all. I considered what I had done. I examined my heart and I realized that all of it was chasing after the wind. Do you understand that phrase? Do you get the picture? Chasing after the wind. Can you catch it? What do you get in your hand when you try to grab the wind? You run hard, right? If you were actually going to try to catch the wind, you'd run really hard. And you'd end up, it's nothing. And this is Solomon telling us, I had it all. I had the earth. I did the test. And it's empty. It's empty. Now, an interesting person that is alive today. Yesterday was football kickoff, NFL football kickoff. It's a big deal to some of you. How many of you watched a football game in the last 2 days? Saturday or Sunday? How many of you watched a football game? Okay. All right, dudes. Great to have you men in the crowd. And Lynette, I know I saw you. Okay. There was a man who stood on top of the football world. And if you're not a sports fan, I'm not going to do sports terms and stuff, so stay with me. Because my wife, whenever another preacher talks about sports, she's like, click off, don't know what you're talking about. So don't bail, okay? 2005, there's a guy by the name of Tom Brady. He stands on top of the football world. He has won 3 Super Bowls, is that right? Somebody nod your head, 3? 3 Super Bowls for the New England Patriots. He is the crown prince of football on the globe. And not only that, but he has got strikingly good looks, and contract endorsements, commercial endorsements, dating any supermodel that he wants to date. Tom Brady has the world on a string. He is the Solomon of America in 2005. He really was. In 2005, he was it. All the money, all the fame. He could literally have whatever he wanted. When he walked out of his house, he could have asked for it. People would have thrown themselves, thrown their money, thrown their bodies at Tom Brady. And so a really, really interesting investigation into the life of Tom Brady happened. In 2005, the television show 60 Minutes sat down with Tom Brady and they interviewed him. And I brought a little piece of that interview that is awesome. The commentator says in the background, with all the money, fame, and career accomplishments, we were surprised to hear Tom Brady say this. And they have him on camera, and this is what Tom Brady says. Why do I have 3 Super Bowl rings and still think there's something greater out there for me? I mean, maybe a lot of people would say, hey man, this is what it is. I've reached my goal. I've reached my dream. My life is... And me? I think, God, there's got to be more than this. He's talking from the top of the world. Pinnacle of health, pinnacle of money, pinnacle of whatever he wants. And he says, there's got to be more than this. The commentator follows up immediately, next clip. Well, what's the answer then, Tom? And you can hear in the commentator's voice like he's totally shocked that Tom Brady says, I'm not happy. What's the answer? And he says, I wish I knew. I wish I knew. I love playing football. I love being the quarterback for this team. But at the same time, I think there are a lot of parts about me that I am still trying to find. There's a lot of parts about me I'm still trying to find. Does that blow you away? Solomon's story? Tom Brady saying there's got to be more than this? Does that make you angry about what you're doing here? What am I doing then? What am I doing? I get up. I work hard. I study hard sometimes. I try to get by. I'm trying to build to something. And now the guy who's built it up all the way says it's a waste and it's empty air. And there's got to be more? Why? Why is it that the lie of self-focus, that if I focus on me and if I get all that I want, I will be satisfied? Why is it that the lie of self-focus leaves us wanting more? Why does it leave us empty? If we had it all, we'd still be hungry. Why? Well, if you have your Bibles in Ecclesiastes, turn to the next chapter. Why was Solomon empty-handed? And why does Tom Brady say, I wish there has to be more than this? Why does he say there has to be more than this? Ecclesiastes 3, verse 11. God has made everything beautiful in its time, and He has put eternity into the heart of man. God has put eternity into the heart of man. This is the answer to the question, why, when I have everything here, when I have everything on earth, am I still starvingly hungry? Because God has made each one of us with an eternal aspect to our being. The size of your appetites aren't too small, aren't too big. All the partying and all the stuff you can go after and all the relationships you can have, those aren't too big, those are too small, the Bible says. There's more. There's greatness. There's eternity. Now, not just after I die, maybe there's something there. Know that there's eternity in your heart now, so that what you chase and what you love longs for something big. Bigger than you. Bigger than this globe. Bigger than a weekend of drunken partying. Bigger than 50 years of a great marriage with great sex and great kids. Bigger than that. Eternity is in our hearts. One of the early church fathers, a man by the name of Augustine, put it this way. Let's put his quote up here. He's talking to God. He says, God, you formed us for yourself, and our hearts are restless until they find rest in you. Boom! Why am I hungry? Why is the lie of self-focus? If I just go after me, if I just go after things, if I just go after helping people. Because some of you are like, you have this little horn. I don't live for me. I live to help others. You're going to get to the end of your life and you're going to realize, you know what, I handed out 10 billion glasses of clean water in Africa. And all those people that I gave water to, they're dead now. And I'm going to be dead soon too. What did I really do? And I'm all for giving glasses of clean water to people in Africa. Okay? I really think you should. But I really think you should for the right reason. Because you know that the man in Africa who needs clean water also has eternity in his heart and is hungry for his true reason for existing. The lie of self-focus says, I'll be happy if I pursue me, my niche. And the second part of the lie, if you remember, was, what does it hurt? What does it hurt if I chase after myself? It doesn't hurt anything. That is the same first lie that the first people who ever lived believed. According to the Bible, a man named Adam and his wife named Eve were told by God, you can live and be satisfied in this perfect garden, this perfect paradise. But do not eat of this one fruit. And so they obeyed for a certain amount of time, but then after a while they believed a lie. God's authority, God's rule-making, God's leadership, and God's love don't matter as much as what I want. What I want is worth overruling God's place in my life.